Good afternoon, colleagues. I am Claudette Wenzel, the Math Intermediate Phase Facilitator. I am speaking on behalf of Mr. Gordon Moring, who has joined the department in the Maths Intermediate Phase position. We are now going to discuss the fundamentals and teacher guidelines for implementing the ATPs. Our presentation outline comprises of the following. We are going to discuss the fundamentals that is applicable to mathematics grade 4 and 5, its purpose, the fundamentals itself, and well as the implications of this document. The fundamentals that are going to be prioritized for grade 4 and 5 will also be discussed. We will take cognizance of the fact that schools were given resource packs from head office in the form of CDs, and that grade 4 and 5 ATP mediation will take place during this presentation. The purpose, the fundamentals, and the implications. The purpose of the fundamentals and teacher guidelines for the implementing of the revised ATPs on specific topics and concepts that could be covered per subject, per phase, and grade in the context of the revised school calendar during the COVID-19 pandemic. The fundamental concepts remain as its core concepts for all mathematical concepts. The implications are that a selection of core content and skills for the subject would be provided. The core content and skills would be linked to the critical outcomes. Current resources, that is, the DBE workbooks, which should be utilized, as well as the resource pack from head office. There are guidelines to parents and caregivers whilst learners are at home, and there's also how to do learning at home. This is guidelines given to parents. The score-based assessment, which includes the summative, to be amended to focus on content and skills covered. What are the fundamentals that should be prioritized? The fundamentals that should be prioritized are the following content areas, namely numbers, operations, and relationships, patterns, functions, and algebra, that is only for grade 6, space and shape, and measurement. Let's go back to numbers, operations, and relationships. The proposed topics, concepts, or subtopics are the following: counting, ordering, representing and place value, performing all operations with whole numbers, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, common fractions. Decimal fractions will only be applicable to grade 6. The next content area is patterns, functions, and algebra, which is only for grade 6, which comprises of the following topics, which is number sentence and numeric patterns. Space and shape, properties of 3D objects, and measurement, it comprises of area, perimeter, and volume. Please take note that CDs are given to all the schools within our district, and these head office resource packs for grade 4 and 5 comprise of the following. They have the revised ATPs for grade 4 and 5, DBE workbooks, example of lesson plans, grade 4 and 5 lesson plans, mental math activities, and weekly videos for grade 4 and 5 for term 2 of 2020. The video links can be sent to learners and parents via WhatsApp. Now, we are going to speak on the grade 4 trimmed ATP only. Whole numbers. The whole numbers are taught with revision of each concept in the 3rd and the 4th term. Common fractions is taught from term 2 for 6 hours and revised in term 3 and 4 for 5 hours concurrently. Geometric patterns. It is taught in term 2 for 4 hours and revised for 2 hours in term 4. Symmetry. It is taught in term 2 for 2 hours. Properties of 3D objects is taught in term 2 for 5 hours and revised in term 4 for 4 hours. Length. Length is taught in term 2 only for 7 hours. Please take note of the following. Term 3 is revision of some of the work done in Term 1 and Term 2. For grade 5 trimmed ATP, please take note of the following. Term 2. Term 2 comprises of teaching whole numbers with the subtopics counting, ordering, comparing, representing, and place value. The next topic to be taught in Term 2 is common fractions, followed by multiplication and division, then followed by an assessment, which is a test. Term 3 for grade 5, trimmed ATP, you will first teach whole numbers, which is addition and subtraction, then multiplication and division. Multiplication and division is then repeated, followed by length, properties of 3D objects, properties of 2D shapes, data handling, symmetry, viewing of objects, and temperature. Symmetry is then repeated as well, then transformation. In Term 4, the following is taught. Whole numbers, which comprises of addition and subtraction, which is then still repeated. Multiplication and division, common fractions, mass, number sentences and geometric patterns, perimeter, area, and volume, position and movement with probability, and there is a final examination in the form of an assessment. Please take note that as much as the ATP has been trimmed, mathematics still constitutes to 6 hours for the subject notional time. If the work covered in the classroom is not sufficient enough to meet the time, if that could be carried over as homework. In conclusion, the fundamentals document gives more clarity for the trimmed or revised ATPs for all subjects. The reason why this document was developed because of the inconsistency in the opening of schools. Unstable staff and learner attendance. Please take note, a common question paper for the final examination most likely not to be administered this year due to the unstable teacher and learner attendance. There'll be no reports given out in Term 2, but will be given out in Term 3 and Term 4. The weighting for assessment has changed. 80% for school-based assessment and 20% for the final examination mark. We hope that this presentation gives more clarity on the fundamental document. Thank you.